Gather round as I elucidate. Tonight, it's Hatchet. It's a 2006 American slasher film. The plot follows a group of tourists on a New Orleans haunted swamp tour who accidentally get stranded in the wilderness only to be hunted by a vengeful, supernatural, deformed man who kills anyone that enters the swamp. The film's successes spawned a film series including 3 sequels. A comic book series followed thereafter. And here's a little picture of the theatrical poster, which you also see here on the little DVD. Old school American horror, they say. The next icon of horror. But I don't think it really took off like they thought. Myself, I give this film a 4. The story and the plot's pretty hokey. Of course, like all horror movies, but this one is a little cornier than most. The only thing I do like about it are the kill scenes. Excellent kill scenes in this movie. So if you want to watch it, make sure you stick around for those kill scenes. Most of them are at the end of the show. So we start the story with Samson and his son Ainsley are hunting alligators in a swamp. While Ainsley is urinating, Samson falls silent. Ainsley finds Samson dead before he too is killed by an unseen being. Victor Crowley, that is. During a Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans, a group of friends, including Ben and his best friend Marcus, decide to go on a swamp tour. They find the tour closed because the guide, Reverend Zombie, was sued for negligence. Reverend Zombie suggests they try a place further down the street, owned by the inexperienced tour guide Sean. Ben pays for himself and Marcus and Sean leads them to his tour bus, where the other tourists, Jim and Shannon, a Minnesota married couple, plus 2 models, Misty and Gina, and their agent, Shapiro, and hot-tempered Mary Beth are waiting, all to go on this bogus swamp tour. Guiding their boat through the swamp, they are warned to leave by Hermit Jack Cracker, whose warnings are dismissed. As they venture further, the boat begins to sink which forces them to abandon it. Jim is then bitten and injured by an alligator, while Mary Beth finds an abandoned shack which she identifies as the old Crowley house. Victor Crowley's crib. Mary Beth tells the story of how deformed Victor Crowley and his father, Thomas, lived in the house until Victor's accidental death, when Thomas accidentally struck Victor in the head with a hatchet. The very hatchet we have here. While trying to free him from the house when it caught fire due to the teens throwing fireworks at it in an attempt to scare Victor. After Thomas' eventual death, Victor is now said to roam the swamp as a vengeful spirit, killing those he comes across. Mary Beth warns the group that they aren't safe in the swamp, but they dismiss her story as an urban legend. And here we have the little Mego card of Victor Crowley. He's an 8-inch figure as well, but he comes in with 26 points of articulation, which I cannot find. Here's a deformed shot of Victor. Pretty grisly. Then the 8-inch figure comes in with his overalls. What I'm going to assume is supposed to be his deformed skin. Combat boots. Look to be something he stole off of a G.I. Joe. And then his deformed head. Got his mullet going on. Skullet, I say.
Wow!
But I'm not sure where the 26 points of articulation are. He pretty much moves just like all the other figures. Maybe if I took all these clothes off of him, you could see the 26 points, but his head has minimal turn because of this skullet, so. Back to your throne, Victor. Now, back to the lecture at hand. As Jim and Shannon approach the house, Victor appears and kills them, causing the group to flee. Shapiro splits from the group and is killed by Victor. The remaining survivors decide to return to the house where they can arm themselves. While at the house, Mary Beth and Ben discover Samson and Ainsley's remains. Mary Beth reveals they were her father and brother, and she had come to the swamp to find their bodies. Victor then ambushes them and critically injures Gina with a belt sander. What in the world? Sean attempts to save Gina by attacking Victor with a shovel, but is disarmed and decapitated with it by Victor, who then finishes Gina off by impaling her with the shovel. The survivors decide to lure Victor back to his house and set him on fire with the gasoline tanks in the shed. While they do this, Misty goes missing. Ben then discovers her mutilated body when Victor throws her remains at him. Luring Victor into the house, the group ignite the tanks and set Victor on fire, but rainfall extinguishes the fire. Imagine that much rain. Victor then kills Marcus and chases after Ben and Mary Beth, where Ben's foot is impaled by a pole thrown by Victor. Mary Beth and Ben push the pole forward, resulting in Victor to impale on it when he charges after them, seemingly killing him. Taking a spare boat out of the swamp, Mary Beth falls into the water and is ensnared by seaweed. She sees Ben's hand at the surface and reaches up to it and is pulled out, only to be met by Victor, who had severed Ben's arm and used it to bait Mary Beth. The film ends with Victor grabbing Mary Beth as Ben lays dying in the boat. And that's how this production ends. But of course, there's 2 others, so the story goes on. So tell me, have you seen this picture? Are you watching it this Halloween, or are you passing on it? Let me know in the comments one way or the other. And until the next one, happy haunting. Meow.